Thank you for your time that I can talk to you. And my main theme is today talking about drawing in the age of AI. I think everyone has to talk about AI nowadays. So everyone is drawing, or was drawing, when you were a kid, you drew. I drew as well when I was a kid. I drew everything I saw, it was in my mind. Even the German school system couldn't get me off drawing with like mathematics or Latin or whatever. No, I continued drawing, and when I was in the 20s, I realized, wait a minute, I drew only houses, buildings, architecture. I'm good in perspective, but there is something else that is very important, people. And I haven't drew people. So I started drawing people, and people are very difficult to draw because they move, right? Buildings are standing, but people move. So what could I do? I wanted to have my drawings moving as well. And so I joined an animation studio after my university and saw how my drawings can move. And I was lucky because I got to direct an animation feature film pretty early. And then I directed a second movie. And then I founded a company for animation and visual effects, Trickster, and this company grew and grew. So you can imagine being the owner of a company with almost 200 people, what can you not do anymore? Drawing. I kind of forget it, and I lost it. I wasn't drawing for 15 years, and then I met a friend, and she gave me a sketchbook and a pencil and told me, please, I want to see your drawings. And that hit me in the face. It was like, yes, there was something in my past that I so much enjoyed, and I lost it. Why? So I started drawing again. Now what happened? When you drew a lot or you do something, it doesn't have to be drawing, by the way. It can be also playing the guitar or doing music, whatever. But you did this very well for a long time, and then you have a break. It's kind of, you don't lose the skill, but you get out of shape, like in sports. And what is out of shape? Your brain. Because you draw, and yes, you know how to draw, but your brain is not anymore in shape. You get a headache. Your head gets on fire. It's burning. So after 30 minutes, I kind of had to give up figure drawing because I had a headache. Nowadays, you might say, okay, no problem, take a pill. It's called AI, because AI can draw better than you, 24/7, never sleeps. So let AI draw. But that is, of course, not my question, because I want to draw. I don't want to let AI draw. I want to draw. What is happening when you're drawing? Your brain sends signals to your muscles, moving shoulder, arm, hand, and fingers, and pushing a pencil over paper or canvas, tablets, whatever. And that's not the only action that happens. There's another one going on. You look at your drawing at the same time. You watch what you do and try to match what you draw with what you either have in your mind as an idea or already as an image, or what you see in front of you, the reality, people. And when this match is working and it looks like what you see on your paper, you win the race. You got it. You succeeded. You are happy. And this is kind of like a competition, like in sports. You have a goal. The goal is to have your final drawing that you like, or others like maybe as well, and you made it. Sometimes it doesn't, you couldn't fulfill your goal, so you do it again and again. Why is this important, this process? In my position, for example, being also a designer, character designer, or storyboard artist, because you have to fill up your storage in your head with not only images, but also how objects, subjects, whatever you draw are constructed like. Because, for example, if I say like Christmas tree, every one of you now know, yes, as a Christmas tree. Everyone has a different, of course, picture of a Christmas tree, but you have this in your mind. But now draw one. So you have to kind of find out, oh, cylinders, cones, spheres, whatever. You have to deconstruct what you see, put it on paper, and put it back again. And this process creates much more information in your brain, and you might keep it in your brain. For example, if I would say, imagine a character with 6 legs, 4 wings, no head, no face. What do you see now? I assume a lot of people might think, what crazy, character without a head? That can't be true. It can. If you watched Marvel's movie Shang-Chi, there's a character called Morris. Look it up in the internet. And that Morris has no head, no face. So you can imagine if a customer asked you, please draw me a concept art or a design of such creature, you look at, what? No head, no face? You can do this if you do research and find out about, animals and with no heads. But wait a minute, there are no animals without head. But, at least you can come up with something. And you can see this in the movie. So everyone who watched the movie now knows, of course, there are characters without head and face. I give you another example. I say now a word, and you have something in your mind. Ferrari. Well, that's my Ferrari. Because you can imagine, I like to draw people. I like to draw figures, characters. And so when I think about Ferrari, I think about Enzo Ferrari. And here I can show you why I like this. I see a photograph, and then I start to figure out, okay, his eyes, his glasses, his nose, his shape of the head. And I'm not kind of copying the photo. No, I take the idea of Enzo Ferrari's face and take it apart, like you just saw, and put it together as a drawing. Because doing so, I understand his face and his head. And then I look at him up in a different position, like from the side, and I realize, oh, wait a minute, that's the same guy? Looks completely different. Because of his nose, in this case. I love the nose. And so I draw him from the side, the same, constructing, and doing so, at the end, after this exercise, I know exactly how not only Enzo Ferrari looks like, but how an elderly white man looks like. Let him smile. Sorry, Enzo. But the great thing about this is that whenever in the future someone is asking me, please, can I have a drawing of an old white man? Yeah, you can, because I understood now Enzo Ferrari. So for anyone who is creating the world or a new world or doing design needs to have a storage in the brain about how the world looks like, how the world is constructed, not only images. So if, for example, there's a restaurant, and the restaurant wants to deliver pizza, and they want to deliver the pizza in a Ferrari. And everyone knows that a Ferrari is a tiny little car, Pizza boxes are not fitting in a Ferrari. So you get asked, can you design a Ferrari that can deliver pizza boxes? No problem. I have my AI companion, my artificial intelligence friend, and type in Ferrari pickup truck. So you get a Ferrari pickup truck. Maybe a more fancy one in the mud, because there's a house in the wood, they ordered pizza. And but then, as a car designer, is this the final product? Is it finished now? Is my job done by just typing in and have it in seconds, these images? I don't think so, because you need to understand way more behind it, behind that image, to reconstruct or to build a Ferrari. So what I did is, for this talk, I tried to learn the design of Ferrari, because I haven't drawn a Ferrari before. So I looked at some images of Ferrari and tried to figure out what is typical compared to, like Lamborghini or Mercedes or BMW or whatever. I'm not here standing for Ferrari, but I had to pick one, everyone knows. So I started to understand the design, the shape of a Ferrari, to come to a point where my idea comes along about a Ferrari pickup truck or pickup car. And still drawing, not using AI. And then I get more close to the final product, and I decided to have a side view of a Ferrari pizza delivery car. Well, it sounds a little bit like I'm against AI. I'm absolutely not. AI is a tool, as many tools, and in my case, as someone who is drawing, a tool to finish my drawing. So I asked the AI friend, please finish my drawing. So I sent my black and whites to Midjourney in this case, and then AI produced this. But it's still based on my idea. Well, if you draw, what else happens? Not only that you start to understand your world better, but also something is happening with you. The same like if you play the guitar, by the way. I'm not playing guitars, unfortunately. I push my pencil. And there is one very important thing, that is happiness. We humans are seeking for happiness because we want to be happy. If we once have a situation where we came out from being happy, we want to have this again, right? We are looking, we want to be happy. So when you draw, there's a happiness because of a success, because of a one race, competition with your reality, your pencil, and your work you just finished. There's another thing, that's health issues. Because when you draw, you have to concentrate, you have to focus on something. So you create like a bubble around you. And everything else, like incoming invoices, an appointment with the dentist, or whatever might come, is outside of this bubble. Because you're inside the bubble drawing, so all the stress and everything that kinds of always hitting you can't get into that bubble because you are drawing. So you have a time where you get a total stress relief. Another point is, it's super cheap. Because you just, you can go to the cafe, ask the waitress, please can I have a pencil? She might give you one, of course she will, because she's a waitress or waiter. And then you have a napkin, so start drawing. You haven't spent anything, maybe a coffee. Don't forget to bring the pencil back to the waitress. So you see, it's even totally cheap. You don't have to, buy a helicopter or a ship or whatever. No, you can do it everywhere. That's very, very good. And, well, I would say it's more drastically. There are two types of people. The ones who are after the result, the ones who really just want to have the final product, they press the button of AI. They want to see, give me that I can't draw or whatever I cannot do or think I cannot, push the button of AI and get the result. And they live with it, and fine. And there are the other people who enjoy the journey, who enjoy the ride, who enjoy the development of something, not only the result, but also how it get there or how it got there. And I say it in just very short sentence, our life is a journey. So please, don't let AI take over that journey. Thank you very much.